Hello, beautiful people. It's your favorite freedom and financial life coach, Coach Star, and welcome to another episode of Passport and Portfolio. Joining me today is my favorite co-host, Kenrick, with Country Boy Travels 206, and we're going to be talking about how to get about this race, right? How to get about the rat race, how to quit your job just over broke, as Robert Kiyosaki say, and live freely, right? So we're going to get into that today. Feel free to join the conversation. Any comments or any questions that you have, please put them in the live below, because we're the experts. We're here to help you and show you how we were able to get out of the rat race and live our best life. Hi, I don't want to mess your name up. McAuley Marketing. Thank you so much for joining the live today. So happy to have you here. All right, so let me get my co-host on, and we are going to get started. Okay, get into it. Get into it. Camric,
Hello. How you doing, Star? How's everything
I am.
going?
Everything is everything. I got a question for you.
I
No,
got
no, no,
an
no.
answer.
Before I get to the question,
Uh,
right? I have a fun fact that I want to share with you and the listeners on the live, right? And then I'll lead into my question, right?
okay.
So, and this is from some statistics that were done, some polls that was done last month. So, 78% of Americans are thinking about quitting their jobs, right? And last
Okay.
month alone, 3 million people quit their jobs. So, what's going on? Why do you think this is happening?
Honestly, I think the pandemic shifted people's mind. It shifted people's attitude. I've talked to so many people who are following my journey that are my friends that look at me and say, "Hey, dang, if he could do it, I could do it too." And and just begin to kind of shift their mind and shifting their finances and realizing that one, people could do with less. It's not necessarily about having the Bentleys and that 7 Series BMW. People watch me with my little Ford Focus for ages, and just putting it around. Why? Because it just worked. It worked. I didn't need a big fancy car or anything like that. And it's to me, it's about doing the math. Uh,
Yes.
doing the math on your budget, doing the math on your finances, and realizing that, hey, I can do with less. I don't need to continue to consume and consume and consume. I can get out there and just live with what
Uh,
I have.
yes. And that's a great point you make about minimalist living, right? And that's one of the keys and one of the strategies that I use to be able to escape the rat race is to live below my means, right? So if you want to create instant residual income, all you need to do is increase your income or decrease your expenses, and you immediately have residual income and passive income to be able to do whatever you want. And that's something as simple as doing an inventory of your
Yep.
life, your closet, things that you think you need, and asking yourself, do I really need these things? And especially when it comes to your closet, like, have I worn this outfit in the past year or two? And this is making those little small steps, taking those little small inventories of your life and saying, okay, if this is the goal that I have set, if I want to be able to escape the rat race, what are some things that I can do today, creating those goals to be able to achieve the success of getting out the rat race, right? And I'm gonna tell you something really funny. So in my book, I have a book called Live Freely, Freedom to Work Whenever, Wherever, where I talk about how I was able to fire my boss and travel all over the world, right? In my book, I ended my book with a quote by Lily Tomlin, and it says, even if you win the rat race, you're still a rat. I love that. I love that quote, because you have to ask yourself, what are you working for? Like, do you really want to work 40, 50, 60 plus years and then retire and then live? Like, you really have to ask yourself, what's the goal here? What's the strategy? Like,
And
what is
and
it?
that's what I've been talking to a lot of people lately about is like what is it that you're working for? So you're out here, you're working, especially my empty nesters. Their kids are out of the house and everything like that. And I asked them, I'm like, what is it that you want? Like, is it really to keep going, clocking in 9 to 5, or are you set up, or can you be set up in the next year or two to where you can leave this behind and try something new, try something different, try even something that you're passionate about? You know, even if it's not, hey, you don't want to stop working, but you want to transition to do something that you're actually passionate about, that you want to do, that's going to bring you joy. Because like I tell people every day, I'm going to do this until I die. And the
Mm,
reason why I'm going to do this till I die, because it's not work to me. You know, I can wake up every morning and travel, explore some new places, and tell people about these places and show them how that they can do the exact same thing, and it doesn't feel like work. Am I generating income? Of course I am. But it's, to me, it's different than, hey, I gotta work, I gotta go in there and make somebody else money, make somebody else, very successful, and then I'm there just kind of treading water. You know, I'm there trying to just exist. But I wanted to bring up another point, because you jogged my memory. Something that we used to tell all of our soldiers when we was in the military. It's like, hey, when you get promoted to sergeant, don't start spending that sergeant money. Still live like you was either a specialist or a PFC. You know, when you get promoted to staff sergeant, then you just kind of move up just one level and just keep just a little bit below where your income is. And like you said, that's just creating that residual income, because now you're not. If you make $4,000 a month, you're not spending $4,000. You're spending $2,000, and now that other $2,000 you can, you know, spend either on creating more wealth, creating opportunities to where you don't have to uh, come to work, or you can do other things, but it's not. It's getting out of that consumer mindset that
mm.
I have to consume. I have to spend every single thing that I got coming in, versus enjoying these particular moments and stuff.
I love that. And, another strategy that people can implement in creating a plan or escape route to get out of the rat race is to pay yourself. Like you said, if you get a promotion, or if you get a raise, or if you get a new job and now your pay is higher, but before you were living on less and you were doing fine, create a habit of paying yourself. And that will then give you the boost and confidence you need to be able to, again, do whatever you want to do whenever you want to do it. Coming up with a plan, and like you said, with that extra $2,000, what are you going to do with that money? Because if you're working 40 hours a week, and this is a true fact, most people don't save 20 minutes out of their week, right? So if you are an hour or two, most people don't even save 2 hours out of their work week, right? So if you're making $10 an hour, right, and you're working 40 hours a week, most people are not even saving $20 for the week for themselves. So if you're putting in 40 hours a week, right, you can start thinking about, okay, how can I pay myself? I'm putting in the work. How can I start putting money to the side to be able to fund this freedom, right? You got to be
Yeah.
able to fund the freedom. So I'm looking behind you, and you look like you're on the beach somewhere. It's the middle of the day on a Thursday, right? And you look like you chilling on the beach. What was that? Tell the people that, how was that transition for you from the rat race to, where you are now? Kind of share a little bit with that with the people to kind of help them out a little bit to get to where you are.
So It was a challenge in the beginning because, like, for me, I had to change my mindset.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 20 years in the military, so I was used to getting up every day, going into somebody's work, and just kind of doing whatever they told me to do, and then going home. I it was used to it. I was conditioned to it. When I got out, I worked at Amazon, and it was pretty much the same thing. Get in, you got your what is it? They give you a task, your mission for the day.
Yeah.
You get in there, you accomplish your mission, and then you go home. But then it just became so draining because, of course, just like every other job, everybody started asking more of you and more of you and more of you, to the point that I just reached burnout. And when I transitioned from working for somebody else to working for myself, it was a little difficult in the beginning because I mean I'm pretty organized. I know how to organize myself, but it was really just setting goals. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's what really kind of helped me. It was just like, all right, I'm gonna set a goal for this month, and making sure that I realize, like for me, I'm not in a rush, meaning that I don't have to be. My measure of success is where I am right now
Mm-hmm.
because I get to go and do whatever I want. And as I'm growing the business, I had to put in my mind, hey, this business is a lifetime business. So I know that I'll be out there making millions and everything like that, but it's a lifetime business. And so when I thought about it as a lifetime business, then I could set, realistic, obtainable goals
Mm-hmm.
and then just put it 1 month at a time. Hey, this is what I'm going to do this month. This is what I'm going to do this month. And it all builds over into this is where I want to be next year. This is where I want to be in 5 years. And for me, that mindset change is what allows me to be right here because I wanted to come out here to Bonaire. So Bonaire is down here right there by Curacao, and just kind of show that a lot of people are just traveling into these weird, unnamed places and
Unknown.
unknown places, and it's beautiful and it's affordable and it's worth getting out and seeing. We spend so much on like I said, cars and clothes and other little things like that. If we just take a little bit of that and just reallocate it to something else, to traveling, to exploring, to learning something new, our lives would be just enriched by
Mm.
it. Um, and then, I mean, to me that's what living is about. And
Mm.
I get it. Everybody's not gonna own their own business. Everybody's not gonna want to just jump out there like that. But for those that do, it is definitely possible. It is attainable. It is not out of reach. It is closer. And I said this to a lot of people. It is closer than you think. It
Amen.
it just really takes one or two steps. Managing your finances, managing the income that you have, and making a plan, and just being consistent with the plan.
I love that. I love that. And a little bit about my, escape the race story. Just like you, I was working in my career and I had been working two jobs actually for like up
Oh
until
wow!
that point, about 10, 15 years, right? Yet I wasn't living a fulfilled life. I was living paycheck to paycheck, even though I was working two jobs, right? And I was working as a clinical laboratory scientist. I was just over broke, right? Like just over broke. I didn't have a plan for my money. I didn't have a strategy, but I became sick and tired of being sick and tired. I'm like, this cannot be living. At this time, like you said, I'm glad you said that it was challenging because what happens is a lot of people see the fruit. They'll see the apple on the apple tree, but they're not thinking about how that tree was cultivated, how that seed was planted to grow that tree, how the weeds had to be pulled up, right? From that to grow to get to the fruit. So I think it's very important that people understand that none of this comes easy and that it is definitely a process, right?
Yeah.
And like you also said, that this is attainable. You can look at the both of us and say, wait, they were able to do this. I can do this too. And that is my hope for everyone that's listening to us in this live, is that you are empowered and you are motivated to live your best life. So what is it? If time and money was no issue for you, what would you be doing right now? What is that thing you want to do? But it always comes down to time and money. And like I said, for me, I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I wanted to spend more time with my family. I wanted to be able to live life. I wanted to be able to have time to travel. So literally one day I'm at work and I'm like, Google how to quit your job. I'm not even kidding. I was so sick of my supervisor. I was like, how do you quit your job? And this was back in the dinosaur times where Google had just come out, and I was on my little desktop PC or whatever. And I was like, how do I do this? And I literally pulled up an article and it was like, how to quit your job in 1 year. Now, granted, the focus of this article was more or less transitioning to another job, but
Mhm.
I didn't take it that way. I just was like, okay, this is my escape route, right? And it was step by step, a plan, and I set goals. I organized my finances. I knew I had to get out of debt because that was what was really binding me to go into this job that was stressing me out. It was the fact that I had these bills, I had a mortgage, I had to be able to take care of my responsibility. But with that article, I learned, I said, okay, first I have to accept in my mind that this is where I am and I can be debt free. Because before I even read that article, before I had a conversation with my coworker in the break room about her parents being debt free, I thought debt was just a part of life and something that you were going to always have. I didn't realize that you could be debt free. So, like you said about changing your mindset. So, my mindset then shift. Then I started creating goals. And then from there, it took me about 4 to 5 years to get to a place where I felt confident enough to be like, you know what? I'm going to fire my boss. It took me about 3 years to pay off debt. And then I'm going to fire my boss. I'm going to fix my credit. I'm going to start my own business. And I'm going to start doing the things that I love and not worry about money. And for me, the same thing. It was travel.
Yeah.
It was
And
travel.
you said something that was very important, is debt free. Like, we're really the only country that really believes that debt is good, and having a lot of debt is a measure of success. If you
High
go to
interest debt.
Yeah, if you, and high interest debt, yeah, it and when you go to other people's countries, like, they're living in houses that are paid off. They're they're driving cars that are paid off. They spend a couple of years, they save up, and then they pay for it cash. And what people don't realize, like a car, if you have a $30,000 car, which is not that expensive, so $30,000 car, by the time you pay it off with all the compound interest, you've paid a $60,000 car for a
That's now
30.
worth 10,000
That's not exactly, that actually has depreciated
depreciated.
in value. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing if you have a 30-year mortgage. If you pay on the 30-year mortgage, you've at least paid twice the amount of that house over that 30 years. And it's
Mm-hmm.
understanding, okay, hey, look, if there's a guy here on Instagram that put it perfectly. He said, hey, I'm going to build my house from scratch. I'm going to spend $15,000 maybe to put it all together and build it. And he said, okay, if I live in it for 10, 15, 20 years, guess what? I have built my house with my own hands, and I don't have any debt. I'm
Mm.
living in this house for however long. If I need to rebuild it, then that's fine. But that's like a different mindset than, hey, I'm finna go 100,000, 200, $300,000 in debt. I'm gonna end up paying 2 to 3 times more for that house than it's actually worth. And then if we don't hold on to the next generation, because that's really where the value of it comes. If you hold on to it for that next generation and the generation after that, then it becomes more valuable. Why? Because the original price and even what you paid on it on compound interest, it has to grow.
Power. Yeah.
Yeah, it got to grow in value for it to get its worth, and it may not be in your lifetime. It may be in your kids' lifetime or grandkids, where that initial investment becomes a lot more valuable.
And
So,
so, Ken, like, I hear what you're saying. I'll play the devil's advocate for a little
okay,
bit
go
here.
for
Like,
it.
I hear what you're saying, but people are gonna be like, well, not everybody can just build a house from scratch. Not everybody can, because I got to get to work. I got to be able to pay my bills. How am I going to be able to live this life, or how am I going to be able to take care of my family? If I am not going into debt to be able to do that.
So maybe it is restructuring our thinking. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
we don't kick our kids out at 18 years old. We allow them to stay for a couple of more years to build their own self and get established.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Because if they can leave the house with 50,000 in the bank because they've worked for 2 years and stuff and they've saved that, or they've been in the house for about a good 3 to 5 years, and now they've saved a significant amount, they could come out and pay for their house cash just like that, especially if they have a pretty good job. I think we just need to reimagine life, reimagine
I
what
love
they
that.
told us we should do versus
I
what
love that.
actually makes sense for our situation.
Absolutely.
Like I know some people that buy a car every 3 to 4 years. Like, let's
Why,
agree.
Sway? How, Sway?
Yeah, but we gotta reimagine that whole lifestyle. I mean, things that we buy things of value that's gonna appreciate versus buying things of value that is gonna depreciate. Um, yeah, I mean, I think that it's possible, but we just gotta reimagine our society, reimagine how we look at things, because again, I'm gonna throw it out there. Other countries, there's other people in the world that are doing the same thing, and
With a lot less,
with a
mind you.
lot, exactly, with a lot less money. With a lot less money, they would look at us
Yeah.
and be like, "Oh, you live in a dream. You're making this, you're making that," and they have so much more with a lot less money.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just because of how they structured it, how they value the family. Look at the family structure. How do they, um, you know, uh, just appropriate their money and stuff like that?
I
So
like
many
that.
things.
So, that your answer would be to reimagine life, right? Restructuring how you think. And also that thing of delayed gratification, or having to have the latest, the
Yes,
best, the newest gadget, right? And I always tell my clients in my classes is that we have to change our perspective, right? So instead of buying liabilities, like we already exchanging our time for money, right? When you're
yep,
working on this 9 to 5. So while you're there and you're working on your escape plan, think about you're staging your time for money. What are you doing with that money? I always tell my clients you should be, and ideally, this is what you want to do. You want to take that money and you want to buy an asset, right? That asset is then making money for you. That asset then creates wealth, right?
yes,
That wealth then creates freedom for you to then fire your boss, because your money is still working for you. See, right
yes,
now you're working for your money, that's great. But if you get sick or something happens, your child gets sick, you have to take care of a family member or a loved one, or you get fired, right? You're no longer working for your money, then what? Right? So you
yeah,
have to figure out, and that's another strategy and the key. You have to figure out a way to flip that paycheck, right? Start buying assets and stop buying liabilities, so your money is continually to work for you while you can be on the beach at 12 noon on a Thursday.
yes. And you said it perfectly. Delayed gratification.
Mm-hmm.
Because like for all the stuff that I did, like I was talking about the car and all this other stuff, to me that was just delaying the gratification because I
Yes.
needed to get to this moment right here. So that having a new car or whatever would not get me to that this moment. It would have just made it harder because I would have had to pay more in insurance, more in card notes and stuff, things like that, more in maintenance. So that means that would have pushed back what I truly wanted to be, which
Yes.
is in this particular moment. So I sacrificed a little bit there to get to this moment. And and that's really the question. I mean, that's really the question with anything in life. What are you willing to sacrifice for it? What are you willing to give up in order to get now if you already have money, then yeah, maybe you don't need to give up nothing. You can have it all from the start. You know, that wasn't my testimony.
Right.
That
Wasn't cut
wasn't
from that
my
cloth.
yeah. You know, and for those that hey, you already got money so you can sit up there and have your cake and eat it too. Hey, more power to you. I am so excited for you. That was just not my testimony.
Right. I absolutely love that. And lastly, I want to leave the people with, because I know this is what people's, one of the main things when it comes to creating the life that they want, being able to
Yeah.
one day fire their boss, being able to live freely, right, is fear. Fear stops a lot of people in their tracks from doing what they want to do, because it's this perception of, I'm going to fail. Like, how did you build the courage to be able to take that leap? And was that even a challenge for you?
I think that it's just living life one day at a time.
Hmm.
You know, I think I've failed so much in life that I realized that out of you're gonna fail probably about 10% of the time. Some
Hmm.
people are gonna fail maybe 20% of the time. But the flip side of that is that you succeed 90% of the time. You
Hmm.
succeed 80% of the time. So failure is a part of the process.
I love that.
And so you gotta if you're gonna embrace the process, you gotta embrace the whole process and know that hey, yeah, failure is a part of it. I'm gonna fail, and but knowing that hey, when I fail, I learn. I learn something. I always learn
Yeah.
something, and I
Sometimes you win and sometimes you learn. I
yeah
absolutely love that. And Les Brown has this quote, and he always say, he was like, if you're going to fall on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up.
yeah
So
exactly
and I really
exactly.
do, I really do love that. Tell the people how they can follow you and support you on your journey to traveling to all 206 countries and territories.
Well, hey, follow me on Country Boy Travels here on IG, Facebook, on my website. Same thing. We're gonna be putting out some very interesting vacation packages to Carousel.
Love
Working with
that.
some companies here so I can work to get you guys some deals and everything like that, and just experience some of these places out here. It's so many amazing places that are easygoing, that are affordable, but that'll give you a different perspective of life and different perspective of the possibilities that are out there.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kenrick, for joining me. Again, I'm Sapphire Star with organized-chaos with a K.com. And this has been another episode of Passport and Portfolios. And definitely make sure you follow the both of us, because we are going to be doing these lives to help you to be able to escape the 9 to 5, pursue your passions, and not worry about money. Please let us know in the comment section if there's anything specific you would like for us to talk about, or if any specific questions that you have about this topic. And, like, comment, and share.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much, and have a great weekend. Wait, I should have seen if anybody had any questions. I was looking while you were talking. I'm just double checking. All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We appreciate you. Be
Yes.
great.
Be great out there.
All righty.
Bye.
Bye.